Ever been trapped on a crowded bus, squeezed between impatient strangers, just trying to make it out the door, when someone decides you're the problem? That's what happened one morning in Philadelphia. A regular commuter, running late for work, stuck in the rush hour crush. He just wanted to step off the bus. But one rude passenger decided to make him the villain of her morning. What she didn't expect was that her attitude would earn her a sharp dose of poetic justice, the kind that turns the whole bus into an audience, and leaves her wishing she'd stayed quiet. Because sometimes, karma doesn't need time to cook. Sometimes, it hits right there at the bus stop. If you've ever had to deal with rude people in public, if you've ever been blamed for just existing, you're going to love this one. So grab your headphones, hit that like button, and get ready for a revenge story that proves even the smallest comeback can make an entire crowd cheer. Because today, one ordinary passenger shows us how a single sarcastic sentence can turn disrespect into applause. It was a gray morning in downtown Philadelphia. The city hadn't quite woken up yet, the kind of damp chill that seeps through your jacket. The smell of wet pavement and coffee mixing in the air. Our protagonist, Mark, had been taking this same bus route for years. Every morning, the same driver, the same faces, the same stops. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. He worked in a small design firm downtown, the type of job that demanded punctuality but offered little reward. So mornings like this mattered. He liked his small routine, earbuds in, coffee in hand, stand near the exit so he could slip out fast when they hit Market Street. But that morning, things felt heavier. The bus was more crowded than usual, shoulder to shoulder, people sighing, clutching bags, muttering under their breath. Every seat taken, every inch of space occupied. Mark could already feel the stress simmering in the air, the unspoken tension of tired people forced too close together. He told himself, just one more stop. Get off. Get coffee. Breathe. The stop finally approached, that busy downtown one where half the city seems to get off, and the other half tries to get on. He positioned himself near the back door, hand resting lightly on the railing, waiting for the hiss of the brakes. Conflict, the blockade. When the bus stopped, the doors opened, and instantly chaos erupted. A sea of people waiting outside pushed forward before anyone could step off. It was a wall of bodies, elbows, bags, backpacks, all flooding inward. Mark felt the press against his chest, the panic of not being able to move. He tried to step down, saying, "Excuse me," over and over. But the crowd just kept coming. People outside were too focused on getting in to realize others needed to get out. He bumped a shoulder, squeezed past the bag, kept apologizing. His politeness was swallowed by the noise. Then it happened. He brushed against a woman on his right, just barely. And she snapped. She spun on him like he'd just shoved her. "Watch where you're going," she barked, voice cutting through the chaos. Mark froze. She was maybe in her 40s, sharp red lipstick, business clothes, phone in hand. The kind of person who acts like public space belongs to her. "I said excuse me," he replied, still calm. But she wasn't having it. "Oh, sure you did," she sneered. "Maybe try not shoving people next time. What's wrong with you?" The crowd around them started to notice. Some people stared, others just tried to get past. Mark could feel every pair of eyes on him, embarrassment prickling in his chest. He could have apologized again, let her rant moved on. But something inside him broke. He dealt with enough rudeness for one lifetime, enough people treating public spaces like they owned them. And in that tiny moment, surrounded by strangers, he decided he wasn't walking away quietly this time. Mark turned to face her, his tone steady, voice just loud enough to cut through the chatter. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "Fly over the crowd?" A few people nearby chuckled. He leaned in slightly, his expression calm but his words sharp as glass. "My broom's in the shop," he said, If it was fixed, I wouldn't need to take the bus. The crowd erupted. Laughter rolled through the aisle like a wave. Even the bus driver turned his head, fighting a grin. The woman's face went red, furious, humiliated. The kind of anger that can't find a comeback fast enough. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Mark just smiled, adjusted his bag, and stepped off the bus while the laughter still echoed behind him. Outside, the cold air hit his face like freedom. He walked down the sidewalk, heart pounding, a mix of adrenaline and relief. He hadn't insulted her. He hadn't cursed. He'd just given her exactly what she'd given him, with a touch of humor and timing that made everyone see who was really in the wrong. Behind him, the bus doors hissed shut. He didn't look back, but he could feel the satisfaction in his chest. That perfect blend of justice and irony. Because on that gray Philly morning, surrounded by impatience and ego, Mark had found the one thing rarer than good manners. A moment of poetic revenge. People think revenge has to be dramatic. A grand scheme, a plotted payback. But sometimes, the sweetest revenge is just reclaiming your dignity in public. It's about timing. About saying the one thing everyone wishes they could say, but never do. That woman probably told her coworkers later about the rude man on the bus. But the 50 other passengers? They'll remember the guy who shut her down with a single line and gave an entire bus of strangers something to smile about that day. Because kindness matters. But self-respect does too. If this story made you laugh, or if you've ever had your own brooms in the shop moment, hit that like button right now. Tell us in the comments, what's the funniest comeback you've ever heard in real life? And of course, subscribe for more stories of poetic justice, everyday heroes, and the sweetest petty revenge moments on the internet. Until next time, remember, you don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes, all it takes to win is one perfect line.